very good afternoon to the august audience present today. I, Dr. Himashri Bhattacharya, on behalf of the organizing committee, would like to welcome you all to the National Conclave and Policy Dialogue on Upgrading and Upscaling Universal Drug Susceptibility Testing for Tuberculosis. This conclave aims to chart a national roadmap for India's transition from phenotype-based to genotype-based testing for detecting tuberculosis drug resistance. In this dialogue, we have experts from clinical science, public health, and technology domains to shape policy recommendations and pilot frameworks, beginning with Assam as the lead state. This dialogue is being hosted at AIIMS Guwahati and being supported by the Gates Foundation, the Policy Resilience Foundation, under the guidance of the Department of Health, Government of Assam. I would like to take this opportunity to invite our esteemed dignitaries to the dais. At the foremost, I would like to invite our chief guest of today's occasion, Mrs. Riniki Bhuya Sharma, to take her seat on the dais. Madam is the chairperson and managing director of Pride East Entertainments, which is a parent company of several Assamese channels. It includes 2 news channels, News Live and Northeast Live, 3 channels, Ramdhenu, Rang and Indradhanu, and 1 Assamese newspaper, Neomia Barta. Recently, Pride East Entertainments Private Limited successfully acquired the digital news platform. She is also the chairman of Vandia International School. We welcome you, madam. May I now invite the Executive Director of AIIMS Guwahati, Professor Ashok Puranik, sir, to kindly take his seat on the dais. During his illustrious service of more than 3 decades in the Indian Army, Professor Puranik, sir, was involved in field as well as peace tenures across the country and abroad. Sir is an internationally recognized trauma surgeon and surgical intensivist. He has been also involved in teaching and mentoring in the fields of advanced laparoscopy, bariatric surgery, damage control surgery in trauma, and emergency management in trauma care. Thank you, sir. I would now request Dr. P. Ashok Babu, our guest of honor, to kindly come and take his seat on the dais. Sir is IAS, Commissioner and Secretary, Health and Family Welfare Department, Government of Assam. He is an IAS officer of the 2003 batch from the Assam Meghalaya cadre. He has also done his Masters in Public Health from Johns Hopkins University. Sir has been highly instrumental in guiding TB elimination efforts in the entire Northeast region. We welcome you, sir. I would now request our guest of honor, Professor Achut Chandra Bashya, sir, Principal cum Chief Superintendent, Guwahati Medical College and Hospital, to take his seat on the dais. He is a renowned public health specialist and has extensively worked in strengthening of the health infrastructure in the entire Northeast region. We welcome you, sir. I would now request Professor Babul Kumar Bezburua, Principal cum Chief Superintendent, Nalbari Medical College and Hospital, to take his seat on the dais. Sir is academically and professionally highly accomplished and a nationally renowned pharmacologist. He has more than 32 years of experience in service, teaching, and research. We welcome you, sir. Now I would request Professor Ashok Bharadwaj, Chairman, National Task Force of the National Tuberculosis Elimination Program, to take his seat on the dais. Sir is also the Chairman of the Indian Association of Preventive and Social Medicine. He is an eminent public health figure in India and has delivered orations in many public health forums across the country. We welcome you, sir. I now request Shri Nandish R. Pithani to take his seat on the dais. He is serving as the Principal Advisor, Health Policy Research, Tata Memorial Center, Mumbai, a grant-in-aid institution of Department of Atomic Energy, Government of India. He is also the Director of the Policy Resilience Foundation, which is a policy research think tank. He is also one of the major driving forces in organizing this conclave. We welcome you, sir. I would now request Professor Subhas Gupta, sir, organizing chairperson for this conclave, to kindly deliver the welcome address.
Thank you, Dr. Himasri. Executive Director, respected Professor Ashok Puranik, sir. Dignitaries on the dais, off the dais, all resource faculty of today's event, faculty members from my own institute and nearby institute, and institutes from all over India, delegates and everyone present over here, a very warm good afternoon to all of you. At the very outset, I would like to thank Mr. Nandish ji from the Policy Resilience Foundation for taking initiative to conduct this important event, and at the very same time, we are also very much thankful to our respected Executive Director, sir, for his keen interest and guidance in conducting this event. Ladies and gentlemen, as explained by Dr. Himasri, this is a national conclave and policy dialogue on tuberculosis. The theme of this conclave is upgrading and upscaling universal drug susceptibility testing for tuberculosis. The purpose of the conclave is also to discuss the possibilities on transitioning from phenotype-based testing to the genotype-based testing. And when we talk about tuberculosis or any infectious diseases, it is not the drug-sensitive strain that is of great concern, but rather the drug-resistant strain that threatens effective treatment and control. So, as I understand, tuberculosis continues to be a major public health challenge in India, and India is accounting as of now nearly 27% of the world's TB burden. And if you see the literature, there is substantial progress has been made under the National TB Elimination Program of the India. However, drug-resistant TB remains a major roadblock to the elimination goal. And we believe that both short-term and long-term vision of the nation is going to be fulfilled from this conclave. And the short-term vision is being TB Mukt Bharat by 2030, and the long-term vision of TB Viksit Bharat by 2047. In this 1.5 day conclave, there are 5 scientific sessions, and these sessions will cover deliberations and discussions on 10 very different, very relevant topics, and we have invited resource persons from all over the India, and these resource persons are basically those who are involved with the TB elimination program in the country. I welcome Madam Mrs. Rinkia Bhiyan Sharma ji, who has taken time to interact with us, and she will be sharing her opinion. Thank you, Madam, for always being with AIIMS Guwahati. I welcome Dr. Ashok Babu sir, who is currently Commissioner and Secretary, Health, Family and Welfare Department. And I thank you, sir, for raising the question. I welcome Professor Achyut Bass sir, who is currently Principal of Guwahati Medical College and Hospital. And in fact, AIIMS Guwahati is having very close and productive association with GMCH since its inception. Welcome, sir. I welcome Dr. Babul Bejbarua sir. Again, sir had been president of our own institute, and sir has always been kind, not only accepting our invitations, but also making sure to attend our invitations. Welcome, sir. I welcome Professor Ashok Bharadwaj, sir, who is currently the chairman of National Task Force NTEP. I welcome Sri Nandish ji and his team, who has been pillar in organizing this event. I welcome Madam Manjusa ji to this event. Thank you, Madam, for giving us time. I welcome our own Executive Director, Professor Ashok Puranik sir. And AIIMS Guwahati has been progressing day by day under the dynamic leadership of sir. I welcome all deans, faculty members of my own institute, as well as other institutes. And in this event, over 220 different participants from multiple states of Northeastern institutes are participating. It is indeed our pleasure and honor to have diverse group of delegates, including clinicians, molecular biologists, microbiologists, healthcare professionals, and technologists. On behalf of organizers, I welcome all delegates of the event, including those from National Task Force, State Task Force, Zonal Task Force, State TV officers, District TV officers, and with these words, I extend a very warm welcome to everyone once again, and I hope that we all get benefited from the deliberations of the next 1.5 days. Wish you all a very productive and enriching stay in AIIMS Guwahati. Thank you. Jai Hind, Jai Bharat.
Thank you, sir. We would now like to felicitate our guests on the dais. I request Puranik sir to kindly felicitate Mrs. Riniki Bhuya Sharma with a traditional shawl and memento. Thank you, sir and ma'am. I would now request Dr. Subhas Gupta sir to kindly felicitate Dr. P. Ashok Babu. Thank you, sir. May I now request Professor Runmuni Deka, Dean Research, to kindly felicitate Professor Achut Chandra Boishya. Thank you. I would now request Dr. Rashmi Agarwala to please felicitate Dr. Babul Bezburua. Thank you. I would now request Dr. Unmona Buragohai to kindly felicitate Professor Ashok Bharadwaj. Thank you. May I now request Professor S. Sinhasan, Dean Examination, to kindly felicitate Mr. Nandis R. Pithani. Thank you, sir. May I now request Dr. Saswati Tripathi to kindly felicitate our Chief Patron, Professor Ashok Puranik. Thank you, everyone. I would now request our guests to kindly come forward for the lamp lighting ceremony. This will be accompanied by a Saraswati Vandana by our nursing students. Thank you so much. May I now request Mr. Nandis Pithani to deliver the inaugural address.
Respected Chief Guest of today's National Policy Dialogue and the Chairperson of Vandya International School, Guwahati, Srimati Rinki Biran Sharma, Madam. Executive Director, CEO of AIIMS Guwahati and Chief Patron of this Policy Dialogue, Professor Dr. Puranik sir. Today's guest of honor, Commissioner and Secretary, Health and Family Welfare Department of Health, Government of Assam, Dr. P. Ashok Babu sir. Principal cum Chief Superintendent, Guwahati Medical College and Hospital, Assam, Professor Achyut Chandra Vaishya sir. Principal cum Chief Superintendent, Nalabari Medical College, Hospital, Assam, Professor Babul Kumar Bezbarua sir. Professor Ashok K. Bhadwaj sir, Chairman, National Task Force, NTEP. Deputy Director Administration, AIIMS Guwahati, Professor Dr. Subhash Gupta, Head of the Department of Biochemistry, respected dignitaries, officials from Ministry of Health and Family Welfare, Government of India, leaders from Central TB Division, Ministry of Health, Government of India, Sri Hari Menon, Country Director, India, South and Southeast Asia Gates Foundation, respected officials from Department of Health, Government of Assam, officials from Government of India institutions presenting and deliberating as a resource person, Northeast region officials of the task force and the committees of tuberculosis, resource persons, faculties, and the young students, dear brothers and sisters, we welcome you and very good evening to all of you. We have arrived today by a common mission of reducing the mortality, eliminating diseases, and implementing the policies through transforming lives. And the focus stays on implementation. I am Nandish Pithani, founder and co-worker at Policy Resilience Foundation. Welcome you all. Whether it's cancer, rare disease, or communicable disease like TB, the message is very clear. India succeeds every time with the science, system, and society working together with the urgency and accountability. These are not just theoretical goals. These are lived realities where patients who look towards us with the hope are the center. We witnessed during the COVID-19 pandemic the challenges and that challenged the world, yet India executed one of the largest and the fastest vaccination drive in the human history. Every stakeholder, from policymakers to the frontline health workers, came together and delivered beyond the imagination. With the same national spirit must now we guide on our mission against the drug-resistant tuberculosis. I sincerely acknowledge the visionary leadership at Ministry of Health, Ministry of Health and Family Welfare, Government of India, especially the Central TB Division and Department of Health, Government of Assam, where policy integration is not just a commitment, but they are accelerating the India's growth in the TB elimination. Central TB Division of Government of India, whose national strategic plan, surveillance framework, logistic reforms, and digital initiatives such as Nikshay are the backbone of tuberculosis elimination architecture. Their leadership for the modern diagnosis, patient-centric strengthened care, innovations which are embraced rapidly, and empowering the state based on the data-driven support. CTD is not merely an implementation agency, but also is an architect of the TB elimination program. As today we stand here, we are inspired by the dedicated efforts and collaborative approach. We all know when we are continuously with the challenges, there's something we learn from Bhagavad Gita, Karmanye Vadikaraste Ma Phalesu Kadachana. You have right to perform the duty, but not to the results or the fruits of the action. Our responsibility is clear, focused in action. Outcome will follow through discipline, compassion, and collaboration. TB elimination demands few interesting and tangible pathways like early detection, drug susceptibility testing, last mile treatment completion, continuum of care with zero stigma, and collaborative community ownerships. The policy isn't successful until it touches every single patient. And as we advise, the universal drug susceptibility testing, genomic tools, health systems innovation, we can become champion in equity, ensuring every single worker with the Bricklin or the youth in the remote village has the same diagnostic opportunity as anyone in the metro city. This collaborative resolve has only one outcome: TB harega, desh jeetega. But be it the fight against the TB, cancer or rare disease, we must follow the faster precision diagnostic, accessible treatments and financial protection. Because every life saved strengthens the workforce of our nation. I repeat, every life saved strengthens the workforce for Viksit Bharat. Here we come with the learning that Sarva Dharma Paritajya Mamekam Sharanam Braja, which means when united under a single noble purpose, victory is inevitable. We draw immense encouragement from the unwavering leadership of our Honorable Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi ji and Honorable Chief Minister of Assam Shri Himanta Daji, who has ignited the national movement that places health at the heart of development. The mantra is very loud and clear. Swasth Nagrik builds Swasth Rashtra. Healthy citizens are the builders of Viksit Bharat. So let us reaffirm, we will eliminate TB, we will reduce and prevent the mortality drastically. We will ensure accessible, affordable and equitable care for every single citizen. Let us walk ahead with one nation, one mission, one action. TB harega, Desh jeetega, Swasth Nagrik, Swasth Rashtra. Thank you. Jai Hind, Jai Bharat.
Thank you, sir, for wonderfully highlighting the importance of this program. I would now request Professor Ashok Bharadwaj to kindly deliver his special address on the occasion.
So, respected the Dynamic Director of AIIMS Guwahati, Dr. Ashok Puranik, Madam Sharma, the most energetic, I know when he was Joint Secretary in Government of India, Dr. Ashok Babu. We worked under him, other dignitary on the dais, So I will not take much time. This policy dialogue on upgrading and upscaling universal drug susceptibility testing in tuberculosis. It's not just another meeting or another workshop. It is a collective resolve and convergence of science, public health, and human commitment. The human commitment to the most important goal of our time, that is TB Mukt Bharat or TB Free India or Ending TB from India, coined by our worthy Prime Minister on 13th March 2018 in Delhi and TB Summit in Vigyan Bhavan. So after that, many changes have occurred. We have moved forward. We know that TB is there from the centuries. But, of course, many development has been made since 1962 when the program was control program, then it became a revised control program, and then it was National TB Elimination Program in January 2020. So, we have the powerful tools, the strong system, and the new knowledge for the treatment and diagnosis of tuberculosis. But the biggest challenge which we are facing now is the emergence of drug-resistant tuberculosis. Patients are suffering. We have got more than 150,000 of DRTB patients in the country. It has to be done because there is diagnostic delay. There is unmatched treatment. We do not know which treatment patient require, and that worsens the condition of the patient. So, transition has to be made from the previous phenotypic lab techniques to the modern genomic techniques, so that we have a smooth transition. We have the deficiency of the current tools in the country for the diagnosis, for labeling the patient, whether it is sensitive, whether it is resistant. We have got more than 816 medical colleges in the country, but if we say that only 425 medical colleges in the country have got molecular techniques, that is CVNet or TrueNet, only 60 medical colleges have got LPA1 first line, LPA second line, or the culture and DST lab. So where we stand, we have to have transition The previous methods take longer time, and we have to move to the shorter time so that patient is leveled as early as possible and the required treatment is given. It is a time we have the smooth transition to the genomic testing so that there is no diagnostic delay and there is no unmatched treatment. It is time we come together and we can show the world that we can do it. I must congratulate the director AIIMS, Dynamic Dr. Ashok Puranik. He has taken the lead along with the Department of Health and Welfare, Government of Assam, and the partners, the development partners, to give the nation a lead. Assam can show it because it is the heart of Northeast. If Assam can show to the whole country that it can be done, then the whole country can take lesson from Assam and do it as soon as possible with the whole support from development partners. So hopefully we will make India TB free and fulfill the dream of our worthy Prime Minister. So thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for sharing your valuable thoughts with us. I would now request Professor Babul Bezburwa to address the gathering and share his reflections on the occasion. Check, check, check.
Respected chief guest of today's gathering, Renike ma'am, who is most dynamic lady entrepreneur, Ashok Babu sir, we are blessed to get him as a Commissioner and Secretary, Health and Family Welfare. Dr. Puranik, just like my friend, and most dynamic one, as mentioned by our Bharatdas sir several times. Still now, I feel his dynamicity existing. Professor Ashok Kumar Bharatdas, Nandish Pithani, my elder brother, most dynamic principal of Guwahati Medical College, Oshit Baisya, and in front of me, those who are sitting, blessing this occasion. Good afternoon, and yes, it's a privilege to attend here to this National Conclave on Policy Dialogue on Tuberculosis. Today, we actually gather not to discuss TB as an inevitable fact of life, but as a solvable public health challenge. Tuberculosis remains a leading cause of avoidable illness and death in our country. Behind every statistic is a mother, a father, a child, a neighbor whose life, their livelihood, and future are affected. Our collective task is to translate evidence and compassion into policy, programs, and partnership that end preventable suffering. We have made important progress, basically in diagnostics side. Diagnostics are faster and more accurate than ever. New shorter preventive regimens and more effective treatments are available. There is a growing global commitment to end TB. Yet, progress here at home remains uneven. Many people with TB are still missed by our system. Treatment interruption persists, drug resistance threatens gains, and the social and economic drivers of TB like poverty, malnutrition, overcrowding, and stigma continue to fuel transmission. So this conclave is convened because policies matter. Policy choices determine how resources are allocated, how services are delivered, and whether these most vulnerable among us are reached. Over these 2 days, we'll definitely identify the policy barriers, surface practical solution, and commit to a clear, accountable roadmap that bridges policy and practice. To do this, we must commit to 5 pillars. That is, first one is the patient-centered and equitable services. Second one is multi-sectorial action. Third one is financing and sustainability. Fourth one is the innovation and quality of care. And last one is the community engagement and human rights. As we deliberate, I ask each session to focus on concrete, actionable outcomes, policy changes that can be implemented within stipulated time, budget lines that can be secured, and measurable indicators to track progress. Let us set timelines, assign responsible institutions, and identify resources. Our aim is a national roadmap that is realistic, funded, and owned across government and society. We must also commit to transparency and accountability. Regular public reporting against the roadmap, independent reviews, and meaningful community oversight will be essential. Success will require political leadership supported by technical excellence and grassroots energy. I call upon our partners here today, that is ministries, donors, private sector, academia, and civil society, to move beyond consultation to co-creation. Let us use this conclave to produce a short, sharp set of policy recommendation and a time-bound national action plan and champions who will be held to account. Finally, let us remember the human purpose behind our work. Each policy we adopt, each rupee we allocate, and each partnership we form should be judged by whether it makes it easier for someone with TB to be diagnosed quickly and treated effectively, and for families to be protected from the social and economic shocks of illness. I am confident that with the commitment in this hall, we can turn evidence into action and action into lives saved. Let this conclave mark a turning point where policy clarity, multi-sectoral collaboration, sustainable financing, and community empowerment converge to bring TB under control and restore health and dignity to our people. I look forward to our deliberations and to the concrete commitments that will emerge from this important gathering. Thank you. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, sir, for your valuable insights. May I now request Professor Ashut Bosso, sir, to kindly deliver his address.
Good afternoon to everyone. Respected chief guest of today's function, Reniki Bhuya Sharma Madam, Commissioner and Secretary Dr. Ashok P. Babu of Government of Assam, Dr. Ashok Puranik, the Executive Director of the AIIMS and the Chairperson of this organizing committee, Dr. Ashok Bharadwaj, the Chairperson of the Anti-AP Task Force, the Policy Resilience Chairperson, Dr. Babul Bezburwa, the delegates from the ministry and other organizations, and the students and the faculties, and the DTOs present here from the states. Definitely, when the 100 days of TB definitely has open up the eyes of everyone, how the problem was still dormant and how this problem was still active in the community. Because only in 100 days, more than 7 lakhs testing was done and cases were detected. That means that much cases in the routine system was hiding. So, and as one case of the active TB is hiding, that means you don't know how many he has infected. So, definitely, today's policy dialogue is a welcome decision, and this definitely will be a good tool. But as a public health person, when COVID started, we started with sample sending to Pune. We started with this, again, the laboratory here, and at the end, the rapid test. So, the number of the testing as well as, and at the end of the Omicron, we got this next generation sequencing system. Only one in Assam, that is also in Jorat East. But again, that took time because sending the sample and getting the result takes 5 days, 6 days, and by that time, patient is cured. So definitely, as this test for the universally susceptible of the drugs and the next generation sequencing of the TB diagnosis is coming, definitely, because in TB, first test, then track and treat, and use of technology. But most of the cases, because in Assam, just giving the example of the Assam, we got that around 60,000 plus cases are being diagnosed every year. Active TB cases are, I think, registered around 60,000. Out of that, 1,500 deaths are happening every year in Assam, only for TB. It's a big number. It is a max number because why this patient is dying, he maybe have HIV/AIDS infection, diabetes, or correlated diseases. But still, 1,500 cases are dying. But if we ask, in immunization, we track 6.5 lakhs baby in Assam per year under the mother and child tracking. But if we ask this, after the Niksai portal, of the 60,000 plus cases, how many cases are lost to the treatment? This is a big question. Because that tracking system is somewhere lapses are there. So one cases lapse means there will be more infection in the community, and there will be more cases next, and there will be death is static. So that's taking from the point of the National Task Force NTP, Professor Farhad sir, that is to defeat the TB, that use of this new generation diagnostics must be there, because as recently we are also engaging with one TB this project, then we have seen that to detect the MDR and to take this liquid test, it takes almost a month, 45 days, 2 months time. So how this patient will wait? Definitely. By that time, he will lose the treatment, he will lose for the track, and it will be difficult to track him. But definitely, if it is only, as Sir has said, within 48 hours, I think, within 48 hours, the testing result can be done. Because we have expanded the net, but if we say, what is the utilization of the net now in the periphery? So that is another question. So my request that if this new tool is coming, because this is a good initiative, because this will minimize the time lag. This will minimize the time lag. When the minimum time lag will be reduced, definitely we can go for the more sophisticatedly, that whenever patient will come, we will know that he has got the MDR, and we can track him, we can trace him, and we can complete the treatment, continuum of treatment from the institution diagnosis till the community, and engaging the community and the completion of the treatment and sophisticated monitoring system nowadays available. As I am telling, that we know MCTS, that how many babies are having the measles. So like that, why not? with this new tool, we can entangle that how many cases have been completed the completion of treatment with the track. Because now every household has got a mobile phone. If the app is used, definitely that is the biggest tool from a diagnosis to track and to treat and completion of the treatment. I think this will be the game changer. Only thing that it should be available. It should be available, it should be sustainable, it should be affordable. These are the three things we should remember, because if the cost is too high, then it will be difficult. And the availability of the tools as well as the logistics and the consumables, that will be another issues. So definitely it is a welcome decision in the meantime with the support system of the logistics and the continuity of the availability in future. Definitely it will be a game changer at the TB, and definitely we can achieve the goal of this TB elimination by 2030. And I think under the leadership of this Dr. Ashok Babu, this ASSAM is also thinking that TB Mukh Panchayat, definitely the TB Mukh Panchayat, I think the last date of the submission is the December. At least this is an initiative that how many of the Panchayat can come. TB Mukh Panchayat means date. First, we should target that there should not be date of a TB in that Panchayat. So in this way, if we can target the vulnerability, if we can go for the differential treatment, because TB treatment is not equal to all. We have the HIV infection, we have the diabetes, we have the comorbidities, we have the malnutrition, we have the poverty, we have the alcoholics. So whom will target better? Whom will track most? So definitely these differentiation things, and at the end, the Nishay Mitra, this is a good initiative, that nutrition, poshan, at least to know his nutrition and to motivate this family, motivate this community to care of themselves, definitely will change the game. And with this high hope, definitely this universal susceptibility as well as this new testing of the genomic sequencing will change the scenario of the TB. And another thing, this handheld X-ray machines are also coming now. So definitely these are the game changer in the TB field in coming days. And I hope that within a short period of time, under the leadership of particularly I'm talking about the ASSAM, definitely under this initiative of the TB Mukh Panchayat and others, definitely you can go ahead. With this high hope, I conclude and I wish the success of this workshop. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for sharing your immense knowledge and insights in this august gathering. I would now invite Dr. P. Ashok Babu to kindly grace the occasion with his address.
Good evening, everybody. Respected chief guest of this evening, Rinki Bhuya Sharma ma'am, and Executive Director AIIMS, Dr. Puranik, distinguished senior guests on the dais, and my dear colleagues. If at all the ICMR studies are perfectly correct, 1/3 of the gathering which is sitting here are already having TB. That means India is endemic for TB, and 1/3 of us are already having, I may also be having it. Then who is getting deceased? As Dr. Baisha said, 60,000 new cases are getting reported every year in Assam. Who is getting the disease then? If Assam has 3 crore population, 1 crore has already infection, and 60,000 every year coming. At this juncture, let us strongly recollect one statement which is often repeated, which is more or less correct. TB is not a disease. TB is only a symptom. The real disease is poverty, malnutrition, etc. Yes, it happens to some extent in rich people, but predominantly it is. If you see the TB patients, you will see approximately 90% of them suffering, they are very poor. The disease, incidence, death, if you just talk, it is only a small part of the story. The real story is the person is already poor, and he cannot go to work for next 6 months, and his family also isolates him. And when the SDG goals are set, the goals are set on 3 aspects. One is how many new cases are happening. Second thing, how many deaths are happening. The third most important thing, how many people are suffering catastrophic costs. Catastrophic cost means approximately 20 to 30% of your income of your family you have spent on the disease. That means that family has gone to again poverty or deeper into poverty. Having said that, in Assam, when we are initially discussing about this technology, the first and foremost thing is Honorable Prime Minister Sir's clarion call that India should be TB Mukt. When initially it was announced, everybody was wondering that India is, they call it capital of TB, it is highly endemic, and they are talking about TB Mukt. Is it possible? But let us understand one thing. There could be n number of diseases, but TB is taken by Honorable Prime Minister for one reason. It happens in poor and it hits the poor very hard. So if any disease has to be taken by its horns and bent it down, it is TB. Certainly India has made huge progress. In deaths, approximately we are 30% less when compared to 15 years back what we were, and approximately 15% less in the new cases. Now I would like to add one more thing. Are we doing sufficient? If you honestly ask me, I say it is not. Why? Because the existing limitations which we kept to ourselves, those things won't allow us to deliver the better results. Imagine me as a TB patient. First I started with cough. I am poor, I went to the PHC. First my sample will be taken, it is tested, and they will diagnose I am having TB, and they will start treatment. TB has approximately 10 types of drugs. They will first give me 4 types of drugs. Maybe these 4 types of drugs may not work upon me. For example, somebody gets ampicillin, usko अच्छा काम करता है, किसी को maybe something else. In the government setup, because 90% respond to that, we just start with 4 drugs. Because he is poor, because he is illiterate, because he doesn't have much knowledge, and he thinks government will never cheat me, it can happen in maybe a corporate setup or any other thing, government will never exploit me. He blindly believed and he went with that 4 drugs. The national strategic program which we framed that says, first you test all 100% of TB patients whether they are sensitive for all these 10 drugs or not. But I am testing only for 1 drug. I am prescribing 4 drugs and go. Okay, I couldn't do on the day 1. Whatever Government of India told me when I am doing, I take approximately 2 to 3 months. In Assam, last 2 years we have improved the number, but still it takes 2 to 3 months. What this person will do in these 2 to 3 months, taking those drugs and not getting any relief. Because my existing system gives me only sensitivity for rifampicin, nothing else. Then he comes back after 2 months, Sir, muk kam hua nahi. That means, sir, what should I do? It's not getting. Then I doubt it could be drug-resistant TB. I doubt. Are the poor are really, they are something to be tested like this? If you are not good, that means you have drug-resistant TB. When we take up this call of TB Mukt Bharat, we should remove these kind of barriers which we kept. Why it is taking 2 to 3 months? Why it is available only in Pune or only in Guwahati? As I could see it, we are trying hard to develop in Dibrugarh also. Because I take the sample, I send to Guwahati through a courier, then it will come to Guwahati Medical College. they feed the bacteria, they physically test it, and they physically test which 10 drugs it is resistant, where it is growing, where it is not growing, then I will decide. The real development is this kind of technology, where on the day one, I don't check physically you are there or not. I'll check by your genes you are there. This drug, it works. This drug, it doesn't work. On day one or day two, the 48 hours which they are telling, the right treatment will go to the patient, so that his chances of death are less, his chances of becoming much more poor are less, and his trust on the government increases. Maybe because we are so careless, approximately 1,200 people still die here. Nobody, maybe you have encountered or not any drug-resistant TB. When I was Joint Secretary Government of India, we used to visit a few places. We had a standard program, go and spend time with TB patients. Drug-resistant TB is one thing, it will never go. The person will become leaner, he coughs, blood will come. And my ashas, in fact, one of the houses I went, that person said, Asha doesn't come to my house at all. I said, no, in our program, every day she has to see you, direct drug administration, where that's why we give her money. Then he shyly said, I only tell Asha not to come to my house, sir. Asha generally goes to the houses where there are pregnant women and children. If she repeatedly comes to my house, my neighborhood will ask me why she is coming to your house. Then they'll brand my house as something. Then my daughter will not get married. So I myself said Asha not to come, sir. So by being careless, approximately we are exposing, if I see the Indian figures, 28 lakh population every year newly get affected like this. These kind of technologies will help us to become more humane, and somebody may say, oh, whether it's technically good, as I could read from the literature, yes, WHO has recently recommended also we should go for it. Nowhere in India it has started, thanks to Dr. Puranik and PRF and everybody, they said, we will try to start in Assam. Are you ready? We said 100% we are ready. Maybe it will give some results, because WHO and everybody has recommended, maybe it is good. Maybe Assam become an example where it can be humane, effective, and really on the path of what Honorable Prime Minister Sir is repeatedly telling us and dreaming about, that is the TB Mukt Bharat. Coming to Assam story, for last 2 years, whenever Honorable Chief Minister Sir meets Prime Minister Sir, he comes back immediately. What is happening in TB? PM Sir asked, are we doing anything? We started many things. Like TB Mukt Panchayat, we started to develop this program right from the grassroots. If we are lucky, approximately 600 to 700 Gram Panchayats in Assam will be declared TB Mukt Panchayats by Government of India. And Dr. Baisha was telling one more thing. I got TB, but there could be n number of factors which will make me much more down, like already this person is alcoholic, or he's already having diabetes or something. We are bringing a system in Assam in a month or so, where on the day one, this person is having TB, whether he has the other features that will drag his treatment, like whether he has diabetes, whether he has HIV, whether he's a smoker, we will immediately in the day one, we will try to do every test and try to remove those factors which deteriorate him further. It will hopefully reduce our mortality much more down. And the last part is screening. This screening is also something which we are thinking. Say somebody has TB, when I am getting to know? When he coughs, okay. When he coughs a sputum, okay. That means he has already minimum 1 month of TB inside him, where the lung is slightly damaged, some pus is developed, it started irritating him, he started coughing. Within this 1 month, he is spreading to many. He is spreading to many. In fact, we are not doing good by doing that. Then, from next month, we are deploying handheld chest X-rays. It is just like my mobile phone. Somebody will just sit like that. Then and there itself, even the minutest scar, even it starts, even much more before it starts producing the pus, I get to know he has TB. So I told CM sir, we are bringing these things. Somebody may suddenly say the TB cases in Assam have increased, because we are going to new ways of identifying people so that overall the disease will become lesser. CM sir said, go ahead. We should not worry about all these numbers. We should detect as many as possible, let them say the cases are increasing, but initially, yes, you detect more cases, you put under treatment more cases so that they spread less. After 2 to 3 years, we will have lesser cases. Don't worry about initial results, he said. So coming to my last point, the technology which that is from shifting from phenotypic to genotypic, Government of Assam, whatever is needed, we are ready to take over this pilot, and we'll try to provide maximum assistance. We'll train our staff so that we do the best. Hope the design is set very good. We have good experts here from ministry, from other organizations. Let us have a very good study and have better results, and send a strong model to entire India, where from Assam this has generated, it is much more humane, and it treats and it saves some lives, and it saves their economy, and overall the real TB Mukt Bharat is achieved. Thank you, one and all.
Thank you, sir, for nicely highlighting the key challenges in the diagnosis and management of tuberculosis. May I now request the chief patron of today's occasion, Professor Ashok Puranik, sir, to kindly address the gathering.
Good evening, everyone. It's my proud privilege to be standing in front of you, and I'm really grateful, Mrs. Reniki Bhuiya Sharma ji, to grace this occasion as our chief guest and grace this occasion. And I'm really grateful to the people who are on the dais. We have 3 Ashoks here, incidentally. Dr. Ashok Babu, Ashok Bharadwaj sir, Achyut sir, and Babul Bejbarwa sir, and Nandis Patani. We just conceived this idea probably 1 month ago, and we decided to take on that, let's do it. And today is the day when we are talking about it, we are discussing about it, and soon it will be implemented. And that too at a larger level. I'm sure you must have upgraded your iPhone very recently. Why do we upgrade? I think we ought to be technologically, we should be adapting the technology. We should be upgrading ourselves. So we are trying to uplift and upgrade the existing system of diagnosing, treating, preventing, and so much so, this is time to change now from phenotype to the genomics. All kind of omics has to be applied, especially the genomics. So let's harness the wonder of genomic science, where the results are very quick. You can prevent the transmission, you can predict, you can make a model, you can identify. It is going to be a precision medicine or personalized medicine. Earlier, like Dr. Ashok Babu said, that we were just giving those 4 drugs. Gone are the days. Now every individual will be tested through their genes, that which particular drugs works on them, and that's how it is going to be tackled. That's how it is going to be kind of, once it is implemented at panchayat level to the hub level, at every level, we need to upgrade, uplift, adopt the newer technology. It's a very, very difficult task. Like at the moment, probably we are doing 2% of effort. What is needed is a 16% of effort. That is what the statistics say. And by 2050, we'll be able to eradicate. But nevertheless, we have the target for our Amrit Kal, during this Amrit Kal, for Viksit Bharat in 2047. So National Tuberculosis Eradication Program is trying hard to adopt this new technology, put the gene expert at the peripheral level. Nowadays, AI-enabled X-rays are available, softwares are available, new vaccines are being tried. Hopefully, before everything happens, through this genomic research, a new vaccine will be available, newer drugs are also will be made available, and hopefully we'll win. You have heard enough from the stalwarts and mavericks who are expert in the control of tuberculosis, and everyone has to really come and participate. So this genomic science is going to make a huge change and huge difference. And for this, the Gates Foundation and Policy Resilience Foundation has come forward, the state government has come forward, and through the ICMR and through the AIIMS, experts from the microbiology, from the respiratory medicines, from the general medicine, we all will be collective working towards it. Let's take a pledge, let's take a collective effort that this genomic concept reaches to everyone for prevention of this disease, for diagnosis, for surveillance, for everything. That much I have to say. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir, for your insightful and motivating words. Your guidance and encouragement have greatly helped us in conducting this workshop today. It now gives me immense pleasure to invite our chief guest, Mrs. Riniki Bhuya Sharma, to kindly address the gathering and share her thoughts with us.
Good evening, everybody. First of all, I would like to thank Dr. Ashok Puranik for inviting me here and thinking me eligible, because I don't believe, as it is I was saying, that I don't belong to the medical family, but still it is an honor for him to believe in me and to be a part of this beautiful initiative. So, as I was sitting down and I was hearing all the distinguished guests speaking about tuberculosis, it is a disease which has been with us since the time immemorial, but due to a lot of factors relating to the cause, because as Ashok Babu was saying, that TB is not the disease is the factors that are associated, that leading to a person to that condition. And today when I was hearing Dr. Ashok Puranik saying that gone are the times, so when we should be going through our age-old traditions of having 10 prescribed drugs, and when we come and when we detect a patient, so that we give him the 4, thinking that it will help him, but we just leave him to the fate, whether he gets cured or whether he does not. So today, as we are all sitting here with the welcoming of the new techniques from the phenotype to the genomatics, which is actually the need and the time of the hour. Because as we say, when Dr. Achyut Basho was mentioning that, like when we have TB, for example, there are a lot of causes which are associated with it, like poverty, malnutrition, environment, cluttered living. But the most worst condition among them is that when, as Ashok Babu was saying, when an ASHA worker comes, he doesn't want to be patent as a TB patient. Why? Because it leads to the social stigma. And the social stigma, which he is thinking for his own family, but unknowingly, the kind of way he is spreading to so many people, so that the same kind of stigma will be attached to so many households, having a very pathetic conditions, leading in a good social life. So since today we are all aware of this daunting statistics, which is affecting our lives, our families, which are leading to disruptions as a result of misdiagnosis and a shadow of drug resistance. And as a result of which, as an invention of new technology, focused on upgrading and upscaling, it's a testament to the collective process. It is a time where I think we should move from discussing a problem, like while going through the stages of curing, like this and this and this and this and factors are there, this number of drugs are there, this number of drugs are given. We should come to a concrete platform to strategically targeting the main cause of it. And I believe that the new techniques which has been taken by AIIMS in association with Gates Foundation, Policy Resilience Foundation, ASSAM government, will be a game changer for the future. And to leverage AIIMS Guwahati's potential as a national and a regional hub for TB diagnosis, referral services and capacity building for the entire northeastern region, I hope the steps taken is the apt and the most proper step taken at the proper time to diagnosis. Because as I was talking to the CEO and the director, I was asking like what was the rate and how does it go. He said that in every 4 minutes, a person dies of tuberculosis, as along with lot of related diseases. Although we are seeing that 30% has come down, 15% has come down on the newly cracked cases, but still, every year, 60,000 of people are diagnosed with TB, and which we can say, which we can correctly, I can repeat Dr. Ashok Babu's statement, where we have a population of 3 crores. We can say that 1/3 of the people are affected, where you can be also one among sitting in the audience, as well as even we among us can be one who are suffering from such a disease. So let us come with a new technique, with a new hope. And by upscaling, I think it is a huge shift from a earlier one-size-fit approach to a precise and a very precise tracking against a very dreadful disease. Because when people, while suffering from TB, when they become drug resistant, they know that the death is not very far from them. And as a human being, that is the worst possible condition that the person can believe, or he can see that, okay, fine, I'm dying in front of my eyes and my days are being counted. So let us take this initiative as a beautiful initiative, and I wish Dr. Ashok Puranik for his very innovative step from checking a person in a genetical form where he can immediately diagnose, he can give the patients the medications which is required, which is apt for his body, and which will give him the road for a cure and with the hope of living for the future. And together also, like as we move towards the modern times, as we are more in AI-generated world, and as we are coming closer with all the technologies, so we are all have our apps in handy and everything is in hand. So only thing is that we need to access it and we need to ask for a help. and the help will be at the door next door. So now it is the right time, with the right initiative, with the right process. And since, as the Prime Minister wants a TV Mukt Bharat, and with Assam government taking the initiatives of all the panchayats as a Panchayat Mukt, as a TV Mukt Panchayat by December, let us hope that with new technologies, with new invention, with new precisions, so we should make it as a fundamental prerequisite for achieving India's goal of ending the TB. And once again, for calling me and making me a part of this beautiful conclave concerning the health benefits and the policies. So where we all fight against our shared humanity. So today I'm lucky, and once again, thank you for giving me a patient hearing, and thank you once again for thinking me eligible to be addressing and become the chief guest and be a part of this noble mission. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Madam, for your enlightening and inspiring words. We wholeheartedly thank you for being present today on this occasion. I would now request Commandant T. Gamlin, TM, Deputy Director, Administration, AIIMS Guwahati, to deliver the vote of thanks.
Good evening, everyone. As I am here to propose the vote of thanks, I repeat, I am here to propose the vote. General vote is to be casted and not to be proposed. So I'm here to propose, and I request the August gathering to cast your vote with a big round of applause whenever there is time to applause. Respected Chief Guest, Chief Patron, Chief Guest of Honor, delegates and collaborators, I am honored to propose this vote of thanks on behalf of the organizing committee. As we have come to the end of the inaugural program of the first conclave and policy dialogue on tuberculosis, held in this budding AIIMS campus for the first time, I express our gratitude to our chief guest, Mrs. Renika Bhuya Sharma, ma'am, please. Managing Director, Pride is Entertainment, Chairperson, Bandia International School, for gracing the occasion as chief guest and sharing her insightful speech despite her busy schedule. May I request our August gathering to give a big round of applause for ma'am. Moving on, I also express our gratitude to our guest of honor. We have a panel of guests of honor. Sri Dr. Ashok Babu, Commissioner and Secretary, Health and Family Welfare Department, Government of Assam. Professor Achut Chandra Baisya, Principal cum Superintendent, Guwahati Medical College and Hospital. Professor Babul Kumar Besbarua, Principal cum Chief Superintendent, Nalbari Medical College Hospital, and also our former President. And also to our Chief Patron and Executive Director of the Institute, Dr. Ashok Puranik. And also to Mr. Nandis Pethani, Director, Policy Resilience Foundation, and Professor Ashok Bharadwaj, Chairman, National Task Force, National TB Eradication Program. So let us give a big round of applause once again to the dignitaries. Last but not the least, I also would like to sincerely express our gratitude to our collaborators. As we can see, the Gates Foundation, Policy Resilience Foundation, and IIT Guwahati for supporting us from the initial conceptualization stage till this conclave becomes a grand reality as we can see witness today. I also would like to congratulate and express my gratitude to the organizing committee and also the host of today's occasion, Dr. Himashri. May we give a round of applause to the host and the organizing committee. And by the way, I would like to request the organizing committee to stand up from wherever you are so that the delegates can appreciate your initiatives. All the organizing committee, please. You are the man and the woman behind this great function, all the organizing committee. Please sit down, please sit down. So with that, I would like to conclude my vote of thanks, and let us join hands to make this conclave a catalyst of change and work together towards a healthier India in line with the visions of TB Mukh Bharat 2030 and Viksit Bharat 2047. Thank you. Jai Hind, Jai Bharat.
Thank you, sir. With that, we have come to an end of the inauguration program. We will proceed for high tea now. I request the audience to assemble back in 15 minutes' time for the first scientific session, as we are running slightly behind the schedule. In the meantime, may I also request the organizing chairpersons and the secretaries to kindly come forward to the stage for a group photo.
We can go this way. You can be in the second line.
सर मुझे मेरा कुछ मतलब नहीं। अभी थे ना सर, बढ़िया हो गया। अभी तो हम लोग का
2 mics है ये ऑन कर लीजिएगा Dr. Urvashi, can you hear us?
Yes, I can hear you.
Ma'am, can you share your video and the PowerPoint slides so that we can have a test? Check it.
You will have to allow me to share, please. I think I'm sharing. Can you see my slides?
No, ma'am,
Please check
we
if
cannot
you can
see the slides. We cannot see.
So I will share again. You
Yeah.
will you kindly give me the sharing option.
Yeah, I mean, we can see you as a presenter, but it's still, yeah,
No,
can you
I
share
will
again?
now
Yeah.
So kindly allow me to share, please. Now can you see it, please?
Yes, ma'am. Can you go to the full screen mode, the slideshow mode?
It has gone to the presentation mode. I'm moving the slides. I'm on slide 2.
Ma'am, it's not in the full screen mode.
It is in the presentation mode, sir.
No, I mean, I think, ma'am, you have to share the entire screen.
Again?
Can you share the entire screen? You can stop sharing and share the entire screen.
Okay. अंदर स्क्रीन पे लिखिए
Now you can go to the full screen mode, yes. Yeah, this is perfect, ma'am, right. So, yeah, the slides are moving as well, right.
When do you want me to speak?
Ma'am, the session is about to start. So we have one speaker before you, and so probably in another 20 to 25 minutes.
Okay. Very well.
All right, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you. ये फिर से शेयर करना पड़ेगा ना? जानबूझ के नहीं करना चाहिए। दोबारा करना। नहीं बार-बार करना पड़ेगा तुम बैठो फिर अभी जाना मत शुरू करवा के चले जाना
फिर कट भी जा रहा है जैसे
Jodhpur, overseeing trauma and super specialty services. Sir is a recipient of the General Officer Commanding and Chief Award for his trauma surgeries. At AIIMS Guwahati, he is superheading the institute's clinical, academic, and research growth, focusing on improving healthcare access and quality in the northeast region of India. Welcome, sir. Now, I invite Dr. Ashok Kumar Bharadwaj, Professor Emeritus, Medical College, Solan, Himachal Pradesh. Professor Bharadwaj is the Chairman, National Task Force, National Tuberculosis Elimination Program since 2021. He was awarded with Best Public Health Scientist, Specialist in Tuberculosis Elimination by Ministry of Health and Family Welfare, Government of India. Currently, Sir is acting as National President of Indian Association of Preventive and Social Medicine, IAPSM. Professor Bharadwaj also received Lifetime Achievement Award by Northeast Zone IAPSM in 2024. Heartiest welcome, sir.
I request Dr. Tapan Majumdar, Head of the Department of Microbiology, Agartala Government Medical College, Tripura, currently performing the role as Director of Health Services, Government of Tripura. Professor Majumdar is Chairperson of State Task Force of National Tuberculosis Elimination Program, Tripura, since 2016. Dr. Majumdar is the Nodal Officer of Tuberculosis Containment Laboratory. Sir has received Academic Excellence Award from Ministry of Health and Family Welfare, Government of Tripura. He also received Certificate of Appreciation by National Health Mission, Government of Tripura, for making outstanding contribution in strengthening tuberculosis diagnostic framework. Heartiest welcome, sir. Now I welcome Professor Dr. Rupali Borua, Head of the Department, Community Medicine, Tezpur Medical College, Assam, cum Chairperson of National Tuberculosis Elimination Program, Zonal Task Force, Northeast. Professor Borua is a member of the Board of Governance, Indian Institute of Public Health, Shillong. Dr. Borua was the Inspector for MCI NMC for both UG-PG courses of medical colleges of India from 2010 to 2024. We welcome you, Madam.
Heartiest welcome, sir and madam. Proceeding with the scientific session now, the first topic of discussion is UDST and its relevance. To discuss on this topic, I request Professor Dr. Shiv Shekhar Datta, Professor and Head of Community Medicine, Tripura Medical College. Sir, I'm requesting you to please come on stage. Requesting all the esteemed, please introduce the speaker.
Good evening. Let me introduce today's speaker, Dr. Shiv Shekhar Datta. He's a professor and head community medicine, Tripura Medical College. And he has many publications in national and international journals. And he is at present the chairperson, National TB Elimination Program of OR Committee, Northeast Zone. Let me invite Dr. Datta to start his presentation. Thank you.
Good afternoon. First of all, thanks to AIIMS Guwahati, the organizers of this dialogue on TB, for inviting me to deliver the opening session presentation on scientific topic. Respected chairpersons, Professor Puranik, Professor Bharadwaj, Professor Majumdar sir, Professor Borua Madam. So I'll be very brief, and I'll set the tone for the next presentation and tomorrow's discussion, scientific deliberations. The entire dialogue is on UDST, so that means Universal Drug Susceptibility Test. Just to make understand the audience, respected Ashok Babu gave an example of TB patient who resisted the ASHA to visit his home. I'll give another, just before this presentation, I'll give an extension of this story. So this patient actually, it's a typical TB patient. He suffers from cough, fever and weight loss, anorexia for 3-4 months or maybe 6 months. He coughs blood. Still he doesn't go to a clinician or PHC because he will lose his wages. And after a certain time, when he feels that it's no more bearable for him, he visits PHC only to find that there is no medical officer in the PHC. Or the PHC is closed, which is actually far off from his residence. Then he visits a private practitioner who prescribes him some antibiotic, a lot of investigations. He again visits another clinician within 15 days and changes and keeps on changing. And only when he's not, he doesn't improve his condition, then only he goes to a PHC to get tested with sputum for TB bacilli. And then he is put on certain drugs. And after 2 months, he comes to find that the medical officer comes to find that he is not responding. And then comes the role of whether the drugs are resistant or not. So see, this patient, particular patient, a prototype patient, goes through so many hurdles. And then only the question of a UDST comes. So we are in a junction when this question has been raised about UDST. So what exactly is UDST? UDST must be addressed after only addressing all these problems. So that is the first message I'll propose to this gathering and my submission to the chairpersons. Now regarding UDST, as you can understand, Universal Drug Susceptibility Test, that means universal means for all. In specific terms, it is we are trying to test which drugs will work on a particular patient or not. A particular patient has been diagnosed with TB, whether a set of drug will act or will benefit this patient. So this is the flow with which I'll take you through this this presentation. The UDST and its significance, the current UDST eligibility criteria and the policy, the molecular testing directives by Government of India, and certain tests when these are indicated, comparing the major platforms of UDST and which test to prioritize in which condition. So why we are concerned about this? This is a repetition to many of you, as we know that we are contributing to more than 1/4 of MDR TB globally. So when I say those who want a clarification on what is MDR TB, multi-drug resistance, that means this particular bacilli or strain of bacilli with which a particular patient has been diagnosed with is resistant to more than one of antitubercular drugs. So the first drug to be develop resistance is usually INH. So then we call it monoresistance, which is almost very prevalent. And only after INH resistance, the rifampicin resistance starts. So once we find that it is resistant to rifampicin, then we call it that rifampicin along with INH resistance is there. That means at least 2 drugs are there. That's why we are calling it multi-drug resistance. Next is, if you go to data, the CTD report says in 2022, we had reported almost 316 per lakh of MDR-TB cases, and out of which actually 11,000 were XDR-TB, that means extensive drug resistance. Now here there is again an issue that in the already or previously treated patients, 11.6% had DRTB, and in newly diagnosed cases, approximately 2.8% of cases had DRTB. Now, along with those, there is the example we gave is a significant number of DRTB cases are going undiagnosed from the Nikshay platform, which actually also our Secretary Health said that many of cases are going undiagnosed or we are losing them. And Dr. Boisho also said the same thing. So this is an add-on to the insult. Now, what has happened actually when we were celebrating that we are trying to defeat the TB bacilli with the first line of drugs, second line drugs, and the other drugs. In between, there was a bonhomie between antitubercular drugs and the bacilli. The bacilli is a very smart one. It's surviving for centuries and centuries, and we are not able to, defeat it. So there was a bonhomie, and lately, and recently again during the 100 days TB campaign, we came to know that this is actually going reverse. So what we thought is actually going the other side, and that's why we need to test that which drug is actually will be effective against the TB bacilli and how we can prevent this. So why this UDST? There are 4 reasons for this. One, if we know that which drugs actually work or will be effective against a particular TB bacilli or in a patient is number 1, then from the beginning we will give the correct treatment. So just imagine if you go to a garment shop and the same type of dress of different size, S, M, L, XL is in front of you. And without knowing your size, you pick a dress. And once you come back home and you find that this dress is no more fitting to you, you again have to go back, again check your dress size, and you again have to fix it, the problem. So here again the same problem is going on. We start a patient on a particular drugs. After a certain period of time, we come to know that it's not working. So UDST or drug sensitivity testing will give you a guarantee that I am putting my patient on the correct drugs. Second, I am not wasting time. I am putting this patient on the right time, the right drugs or combination of drugs. Third, meanwhile, if I am not wasting time and I am not putting the patient on particular set of drugs which are actually not working or will not work, in between when the patient might have transmitted the disease, which might be a drug-resistant TB, so I am reducing that period also. And fourth is that we are reducing the burden on repeated patients and DRTB also. So that means we are working on 4 fronts: reducing time, reducing cost, reducing patients, and reducing transmission. So on all 4 corners, we are doing the correct thing. If we do not do UDST, then we will be going into the wrong way. So what the current policy says? So the current policy says, the previous policy says UDST should be applied to only the high-risk groups. What is the high-risk groups? Those patients who were treated previously and not getting cured, children, patients with HIV, with TB. So these were the classified groups on which UDST was applied. What has changed? The word U has come, universal. That means all patients upfront. Upfront means at the time of diagnosis or minimal within 15 days after starting treatment, you have to put the patient on at this testing, or molecular testing. So that is the policy level change. Second is that previously, you just go for rifampicin resistance. Now, if rifampicin resistance is found, you have to go to the other second-line drugs also. So these are the major 2 things. And third is previously only applicable to the public sector. Now it has included also public sector and also must for the private sector. Now, if you look at the eligibility criteria, as I've already said, all notified TB cases, Pulmonary, extrapulmonary, whether they are from public sector, they are private sector, all ages, including contacts of TB cases, all are eligible for UDST. Now, UDST must be performed before starting treatment, preferably, and if somehow it has not been done, within 15 days of diagnosis. Baseline DST for additional drugs, now one more thing is, just here a clarification that one is, you must have heard about TrueNet, CBNet, all those, testing facilities, molecular testing facilities, which we call UDST. There are two things. One is whether you are trying to diagnose TB or you are trying to find out which drugs actually will work in this particular case. So UDST, we are talking about not just diagnosis, but the drug's susceptibility. So which set of drugs you are going to, that is UDST. So don't confuse it with just TB diagnosis. And the target is 100% of the patients should be covered by 2025. That was the mandate. Now, there are multiple platforms like TrueNet, GeneXpert, LPA, then MIGIT, all the platforms I'll be discussing. In brief, the comparison of the major four platforms for UDST. Once initially you put a patient initially on TrueNet and CBNet, and once you find that there is some resistance, of course TrueNet and CBNet or GeneXpert gives you the rifampicin resistance only. When I say rifampicin resistance, it means INH plus rifampicin resistance. Then you go on to LPA and liquid culture based, that is MIGIT. Now, for just this is something which TrueNet looks like. Now, TrueNet is a portable RT-PCR platform which gives point-of-care molecular diagnosis, which means it can be used at PHC level also. This is TrueNet. The second is, you will find GeneXpert, also known as CBNet, because CBNet is the dynamics with which goes, and GeneXpert is the name of the machine, that's all. So it's a rapid diagnostic platform, widely known as MTB or RIF assay platform also. The basic principle with which it works is sample in and answer out. Just you put in the sample and you get which resistance is there. On the other hand, LP or line probe assay is not a machine, it's a series of machines. There are three principles on which this LPA works. Number one is a DNA extraction in the phase 1. Second phase is PCR amplification or the DNA amplification, and the third phase is the reverse hybridization. So these three mechanisms work in LPA or line probe assay. And the fourth is MIGIT, also known as Mycobacteria Growth Indicator Tube. So it's a automated liquid culture system. So apart from the first three, it's a culture-based UDST platform. So this is the use and indication. This is a primary indication for comparative purpose. So TrueNet and GeneXpert, CBNet. These are rapid molecular TB diagnostics, but for our purpose, it is not just the diagnostic, but we are trying to find out whether there is a RIF resistance or not, rifampicin resistance or not. So MDR TB we are trying to find out. On whom it is applicable? All presumptive TB. All presumptive TB, it is applicable. Now, there are difference between TrueNet and GeneXpert is that TrueNet is applicable or indicated at primary test, so it can be used at decentralized healthcare settings, whereas GeneXpert usually is a centralized health setting. It's a higher level instrument. On the other hand, LPA, the third column you are looking into here, it is used for first line drug and second line drugs. So it usually detects, in addition to INH or rifampicin, fluoroquinolones, second line injectables, and ethionamide also resistance it can identify. So when it has to be used, when the first two shows that there is MTB detected and there is resistance. So you go for next level of resistance identification. So when it is indicated, when you find that there is first line or second line resistance is there. Next is MIGIT. So it's a liquid culture, as I said, it's the gold standard for drug susceptibility, but it is non-molecular. when it is indicated for MDR and particularly for XDR cases. Now, if we look at the performance-based comparison of these three things, the principle I have already said, it's one is the chip-based, that is TrueNet, another is cartridge-based, that's why it's called CBNet. LPA is strip hybridization, and culture or midget is phenotyping UDST only. When it comes to sensitivity, midget gives you the highest sensitivity, and remaining all gives you preferably high only. In addition to rifampicin resistance in TrueNet and CBNet or GeneXpert, your LPA gives first line, your all second line injectables resistance, whereas culture gives all the resistance, all type of resistance which could be there for anti-TB drugs. Utility-wise, TrueNet is already, as I said, in fields setup, but midget, it requires all, much higher level things. Cost-wise, as you can guess, TrueNet is the cheapest one, and midget is the high, maximum costly one. So this is a performance-based comparison. Now, when to apply what? So you have resource constraint also, like sir was saying, we first had in Dibrugarh, Jorhat, then we have in Guwahati, and now we want to expand it across Assam, and why not, across even, you can district level, you can expand it. So if you talk about resources prioritization, so what should be done first? Upfront means just, before diagnosis also, before diagnosis or just at the time of diagnosis. So go for upfront net, that is TrueNet or GeneXpert, for all suspected, or even if you have just diagnosed the case as maybe on a sputum or X-ray, whatever case, just put on upfront NAT. Second, if in NAT, that is TrueNet or GeneXpert, you find that there is resistance, go for LPA for first line, all the drugs, and second line resistance, if it is available. Otherwise, send to a reference lab, whatever is available near to you. If there is further resistance, then third step is for culture, that is midget, and phenotype DST only if molecular test is discordant or further assistance is required. So these are the possibilities and resources available to you. But then if remember the last line, if tests are not available near around you, so prioritize high risk. So retreatment cases, contacts of DRTB, children HIV cases should be referred, and don't just start with the classical first-line drugs. Refer to your higher center before putting these patients on drug, because these are the most higher chances of MDR-TB cases. So to summarize in 3 or 4 points, that all TB patients as per current UDST policy should be put on UDST. That is the foundation of TB elimination at this point. Second is NAT is the diagnostic cornerstone, whereas LPA and midget or culture remains the essential for mapping the resistance, and also to find out additional resistance, and then to minimize the patient burden, patient suffering also. In case of resource crunch situation, you should not compromise with patient care. Don't forget to refer to your higher center. So with this, I'll conclude my brief presentation. Thank you.
UDST is the rate of our patient should know which medicine he or she has to take. So, and also we have to decrease diagnostic delay. So, but the situation in our country is not that rosy. I just talk of medical colleges. If we talk of UDST, in all TB patients, the range is from 38% to 92%. So, not 92, 92 is in case of micro-confirmed cases. So, 38 to about 55%, all TB patients. But in micromolecular patient, it is good. It is more than 60%, up to 92% in some of the zones. So, but in northeast zone, this proportion is very, very low. And maybe due to the fact that not all the institutions, all medical colleges, they have got night teaching. So, out of 650 medical colleges which are actively involved in implementation of national TB elimination program in medical colleges, only about 420 odd medical colleges have either CBNAT machine or majority have TUNAT machine. And rest of the medical colleges are linked to the nearest district centers or the nearest institutions where this facility is available. So that is why the proportion of UDST is less. So as we talk about the first line LPA, the second line LPA and the UDST in Nigeria. So it's only 10% of the colleges, means around 60 colleges they have got this facility. So that is the situation and we have to upscale it. That is why we have to transition, we have to have transition from these previous molecular testing or the phenotypic testing to the newer modern genomic testing. So if we scale it up, then the cost will come down and there will be no diagnostic delay. The patient can be put on the treatment which he or she requires second day or third day. So thank you for excellent presentation and hope the Northeast will progress in this direction. So I will end with again stigma for tuberculosis. Suicidal facility are not available, but the highest level of stigma which I observed in a medical college in Uttar Pradesh. You just cannot forget that situation when I asked a person of 65 years of age, a Muslim patient, came out to the room of HOD, pulmonary medicine in that medical college with a box of sweet. So then I asked Amitabh, why is he cured of tuberculosis? And the patient himself tell. So then the next question, what he said, I will just say in his language. उसने वो मिठाई का डब्बा ऊपर किया, बोला अल्लाह है इस प्रकार की नहीं निकला। तो बाबा जी क्या निकला? कैंसर निकला है क्या हो गया? शान से भरेंगे, मेरे को मालूम है 3 महीने की उम्र बची है, शान से भरूंगा। अगर टीबी निकलता तो अपने घर नहीं जा पाता, यमुना में जंप करके मर जाता। तो इसके ऊपर टीबी का स्टिग्मा नहीं हो सकता। So we have to work toward this, and of course we have to go toward 100% UDST, but 2025 we are on the verge of only 2 months are left. Hopefully when we are moving and we will reach somewhere. So thank you very much. Thank you very much for excellent presentation. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Shekhar Datta, for the nice presentation. You have set the tone for the 2 days conclave, and you have explained everything so nicely. I'm sure the audience, especially young faculty and students, will be highly benefited by this presentation. Now I hand over the mic to Dr. Tapan Mazumdar, who is a microbiologist by training. He will be able to give better expert comments on your presentation.
Thank you, Dr. Chief, for your nice presentation. As Professor Varudaj sir has mentioned, the challenges are actually the molecular testing usually, and I tell about the Tripura's experience. Actually, we have now TrueNet machine in almost all the subdivisional hospital, and all the district hospitals are equipped with CBNet machine, and we have a LPA facility at a GMC. But in spite of that, what we find is the testing facilities are being utilized very poorly by the clinicians. This is number one. Number two is the turnaround time. Even the treatment initiation is very, very prolonged, because what we now want that all the TrueNet or CVNet positive patients should undergo first line and followed by second line if necessary. And in medical college itself, we find that most of the reef sensitive cases, like 10 to 15% cases, we find them, though they are reef sensitive, but they turned out to be ionized resistant. So this is a big, big problem which we are ignoring when we only depend on the CVNet and the TrueNet machines. So for that purpose, I think that today's policy dialogue is very important to transition ourselves from the molecular testing to the genomic level testing, which will give you the exact picture, and the turnaround time will be very, very less. And I hope that with this introduction of this machine, that should not be restricted into particular one state, like we had our viral research and diagnostic lab facilities all over the country and all over the states, and we have seen this impact during COVID time. Because of these only, we could respond vigorously from almost all the states to start with. Then later on, we expanded it. So these type of genomic testing facilities should be introduced at a time to all the states, at least one institute at one state, so that we can upscale this facility in future. So with these few suggestions, I thank you for your beautiful presentation. Sir.
I think the basic crux is making available all this instrument at the periphery and the reagents and the whole the system, you know, of the supply chain. What I mean to say is that then only things are possible, you know, because this is geographically a difficult area. People are in periphery, tribal belts, going to the quacks first, going to the lesser trained doctors and all those things. But I think in the era of technology, something needs to be rewired with the rethinking, replanning, some newer things has to be added. That much I can say. Thank you.
Yeah, with this we conclude this session. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir, for your wonderful presentation. We will be proceeding with the second session now.
The second topic of discussion of today's session is current status of implementation of UDST in India and its challenges. The speaker for the session is Dr. Urvashi B. Singh, Deputy Director General, Tuberculosis, Central Tuberculosis Division, Ministry of Health and Family Welfare, Government of India. Madam will be joining us virtually. I request the esteemed chairpersons to kindly introduce Madam.
Over to you, the chairpersons.
Urvashi ji, namaskar, and we welcome you to this August gathering. And it's very my privilege to introduce you. She is the Deputy Director Tuberculosis of the Central TB Division at the moment. And please play the slide, focus the slide. And yeah, okay. So she's with the Ministry of Health and Family Welfare, Government of India. She is a microbiologist and also a PhD, a fellow of in medical sciences. And she is also the director of National Tuberculosis Institute in Bangalore. Earlier, she was a senior professor in charge of tuberculosis division at AIIMS, New Delhi for a very long time, 22 years. And Dr. Singh is a noted researcher, and her focus is certainly on a clinical tuberculosis related issue. And primary research interest also includes molecular epidemiology, especially the drug resistance in tuberculosis. And she has authored over 100 peer-reviewed publications and has published 8 book chapters, and she has led over 50 funded research studies and hold 5 patents. So we welcome you for your lecture in this National Conclave and Policy Dialogues on Tuberculosis. Dr. Urvashi, over to you. She'll be joining online.
Good evening to all the esteemed experts, and I am unable to actually see all the experts who are here, but I could appreciate Dr. Bharadwaj sir was there. Good evening, sir, and of course Dr. Tapan, whom I have known for more than 26 years, I think. I've been faculty at AIIMS for 26 years at plus. And before that, so I've been at AIIMS for 33 years now. So it is an honor to be amongst the esteemed members here, and I think the hosts have been kind enough to invite me. So thank you to the organizers. And also, I think the previous speaker did refer to Dr. Ashok Babu, who is currently playing a major role in the state of Assam, and he was the Joint Secretary with the NTEP. And everybody here remembers him fondly, though when I had joined here, I mean, he's moved to Assam, so I'm sure he's making a lot of difference to our most important northeastern region states, where all of us want to make a major difference, and I'm sure Dr. Tapan's role in his current position as the Directorate Health Services in his state, he's bringing about changes. Now, I wanted to widen the perspective. Now, for me, if you ask, the universal DST is something that is, we all talked about yesterday. So since the last 1 year, we have practically revolutionized how the program looks at the TB disease. You are aware, somebody mentioned the 100-day Abhiyan. So, sir, 100-day Abhiyan is not yet over. Beyond the TB day, when the 100 days were got completed, we have expanded the TB Mukt Bharat Abhiyan across the country to all the districts, and we are practically doing new strategy, new, in fact, the strategy has been expanded to cover all vulnerable population, the guidance for which again came in scientifically. So since the professor who spoke before me is from AIIMS Guwahati, I am sure he's aware of where things were, but I will share with you where things are today. So the new strategy I was trying to talk about earlier, it is about expanding the TB diagnosis to each and every corner. So there has been a lot of effort to expand the program to reach the peripheral areas. We have roped in our system ministries. So there's a whole of government, whole of society approach. We are actually roping in all our system ministries who are helping us, handholding, their own. So for example, the Ministry of Rural Development, Ministry of Panchayati Raj, Ministry of Education, all the officers from the center to the periphery in these ministries are on board with us, and they are helping us expand, our reach. We have our ASHA workers, our CHOs at the periphery, which actually enables us to offer UDST at the peripheral level. So that is how strongly the program is currently acting. Now, back to the strategy, maybe you're not aware, we expanded the symptoms from 4 symptoms that is recognized by WHO to 10 symptoms. Now, the 10 symptoms are nothing but early diagnosis of TB, and this early diagnosis is enabled by things like loss of weight, loss of appetite, evening rise in fever, loss of, evening tiredness, extrapulmonary symptoms have also been included in the 10 symptoms. And the beauty of this is that we have been able to translate the IEC material that my team worked very hard in making to local languages in all the states of the country, and I'm sure in the northeastern states as well, these IEC material have been seen in local languages. So the effort is an all-out effort, but let me concentrate. I was talking about the vulnerable population. So the science behind this came from the TB prevalence survey, which was published in 2022, conducted by the National TB Program along with ICMR, and that brought out that the top 8 contributors to TB were, diabetics, HIV, past TB, patients in contact with TB, smokers, alcoholics, geriatric population, and those with a low BMI. There are several other additional vulnerable groups like mining population, those exposed to dust, stone crushers, garment factory workers, tea garden workers. We have tried to reach each of these people in congregate settings. But for the sake of the Abhiyan, we initially line listed the vulnerable groups. This was done very efficiently by our ASHA workers, and what we then recommended was screen them all, because these groups contribute about 80% of TB burden. Even in our Nikshay portal, when we look at the data, we find drivers of incidence and drivers of mortality. So all the data has guided us, the previous work in the country has guided us, and let me bring to you something, since we are all microbiologists, I think predominantly, or people who've been working in the sphere of TB. Now, people earlier have talked about two extremes, latent TB and active TB. People forgot about the intermediaries, the incipient and subclinical TB. Now, when we wish to expand our efforts to the vulnerable population, we wanted to reach the ones carrying subclinical TB, which continues to, a subclinical TB will continue the chain of transmission, it will shed into the community, while the patient himself may be asymptomatic. He may not even realize he has the disease. The vulnerable groups have such a TB. They have subclinical TB, and by the time they become overt, because of the comorbid conditions, their disease gets worsened. So the new strategy meant to identify the asymptomatic subclinical TB as well, and we started screening these vulnerable population using a handheld X-ray. The efforts toward handheld X-ray has enabled us to procure 2,000 handheld X-rays, which are now being given to the states. The states will soon, stress and work harder to offer the X-rays to all the vulnerable groups. In addition to these handheld X-rays, we already have fixed X-rays under the program, which are to the tune of 6,000 to 7,000. And just to add on with a new strategy of vulnerable population, in addition to the program active case finding efforts, we're also tying up with the NCD programs in a big way, NCD program at all levels, state levels, in a big way, where, whether it's a diabetes clinic, of course, we always had a two-way screening with the AIDS control program, an ACP, and with NCD as well, we are trying to get two-way screening. So all diabetics are offered at least one annual X-ray to rule out any TB, whether active or subclinical TB. This again was supported by, my published work way back in year 2016, when we found subclinical TB in type 1 diabetics, and these were culture-positive patients, but the physician never agreed to treat them because he said the patient is completely asymptomatic. We collected these patients from OPDs, patients visiting type 1 diabetes clinic, and when these were culture-positive, of course, we wanted to do more work on the area. Now I have been able to, incorporate this as one of the program strategies. And just to allude to the numbers we have found, of 23.8 lakh notifications during the Abhiyan time, close to 9 lakh are those who were asymptomatic. They've been initiated on treatment, and had we not reached them, found them, they would have waited till such time that the disease became overt, and they would have continued to, continue the chains of transmission in the community. And what we want is to get rid of chains of transmission, to stop the chains of transmission. We want to identify all TB disease, and we want to identify it early. Having said all this, our efforts, I'm not sure if my slides are visible. If somebody could kindly confirm my slides are visible, or I'll make an effort to share them again. I think this tells me I'm sharing. I'll share them again, please. If somebody may please confirm that these slides are visible. Would somebody kindly confirm? I'm unable to hear any.
No, ma'am. It's not visual.
Okay, I'll try and share them again, or I'll share with you so that it can be shared at that end.
No, not yet shared, madam. Could you share the slides, please? Do we have the recorded version also? No.
Dr. Zaman, I request you to kindly share the presentation at your end, please.
Ma'am, can you share your entire screen, ma'am, and then, yeah, and can you switch to the PowerPoint there? Yes.
Yeah.
Can you go to full screen now, ma'am?
Yes.
The slideshow mode.
Give me a moment, please.
Okay, I think.
So is it visible now?
Yeah, that's all right. That's fine.
So this is, I'm going to actually run you quickly through where we are with UDST, because for us, to reach each and every patient with any drug resistance, be it rifampicin, be it INH, be it fluoroquinolone, we are working in a holistic manner, and you will see soon how we are able to cover all these drugs for the farthest reaching patients. So I'll quickly run through. So the previous speaker has already talked about the modalities available for detecting drug resistance, and here I am sharing with you what the NTP network looks like. We have 6 national reference laboratories under which we have, all states have an intermediate reference laboratory. So in all, we have 37 IRLs, 63 culture and DST labs, in addition to the IRLs and NRLs. So totally it becomes a network of 108 culture DST laboratories. And let me remind you, all of these culture laboratories are external quality assured annually. Now, the PHENOTYPIC DST external quality assurance is an annual program, and I must thank our supranational laboratory, NIRT, for conducting this EQ activity. We have, as we speak, more than 9,391 NAT systems. Why I say more, this was the figure of last week. And while we speak, there is so much thrust, you will realize when I move to the next few slides, so much thrust and so much effort we are putting in enhancing the NAT availability. We are trying to get to 100% UDST for diagnosis. So all the states are in the process of enabling their network, procuring more systems, and the supplies, the consumable supplies are all sent from the center to all the states across the country. We have a wonderful system on BVDMS, which actually tells us if any state has supplies which are less. We have rate contracts at the center for the consumables, cartridges for CVNAT, chips for TrueNAT, and now we have the new system PathoDetect, which has been validated by ICMR, adopted under the National TB program, and we are, enabling the availability of these machines. These are high throughput systems, quite like CVNAT system, and we will have these at the district level, as compared to the TrueNAT, which can reach the PHC and CHC. So when you see my next few slides, you'll realize the TrueNAT, which was brought by all our efforts. We conducted the validation of TrueNAT system way back in 2014, 11 years earlier, concluded, validated. We helped the company streamline the working of the system so that it could come at par with GeneXpert, and followed by a lot of research in pulmonary, extrapulmonary, pediatric samples on TrueNet. And today we can take pride that an Indian indigenous system is being exported to 82 plus countries. This was my last dialogue with them. Now, there's a lot of effort by ICMR in validating, and kudos to ICMR for continuing to support this validation. But then this is adding strength to the country. Moving on to the microscopy, we have a lot of microscopy centers, few thousands. Again, the microscopy centers will not become redundant as we move on to NAT UDST, because we are training our microscopy centers to discern between live and dead bacteria. 43 of the culture labs have now been external quality assured for the new drugs, the bedaquiline and britomanid, and again a first for global. So India is the first country to actually be able to offer phenotypic DST to bedaquiline and britomanid in an external quality assured system. 43 labs have been quality assured, and they are conducting these tests. But when I'll talk about when are we going to need the results of these tests. So in addition, these labs have also been trained to do the FDA staining, fluorescein diacetate staining, which discerns live from dead bacteria. So during follow-up of patients on treatment, we'll be able to know when the patient is failing. Moving on to the expansion of, so you can appreciate how the network has expanded. We started with, in 2017, we just had about 600 CBNAT machines. Today we have close to 1,825. All this is under the NTEP labs, like Dr. Tapan mentioned. The district level labs have CBNAT, while the peripheral labs have TrueNat. Now the TrueNat expansion, you can appreciate, we have close to 7,566 systems and counting. So like I said, states are procuring this number. In another week, if I'll be talking to you, I'll probably be talking about 10,000 and more machines. We also have first line and second line LPA. We have, like I mentioned about the culture DST labs, we have, we're adding new things every day. So this is the number of diagnostic tests performed. So you can appreciate we are moving away from microscopy and moving towards UDST. And again, this has been a big jump from even last year, that we are expanding our UDST. You can appreciate this. This is the 20 till 2024. And in 2024, we were at 25% countrywide. Few states were not able to catch up. But if you look at first quarter 2025 and second quarter 2025 and third quarter, let me share with you, we've gone up to a coverage of close to 70% UDST across the country. Few states have reached 100%. The rest of the states are catching up. And the whole exercise gives me a lot of energy when I share with you. It has been a positive approach on behalf of states as well, who have come on board, taken this challenge, and are now trying to offer UDST to each and every patient. Of course, we are behind them. We are hand-holding them. We are supporting in as many possible ways as possible. The external quality assurance of the NAT system is also in practice. Annual EQA is being done, and for this, the credit goes to National TB Institute, Bangalore, who do this activity religiously year after year, and the microbiologist present here would have experienced that activity and would appreciate how beautifully this activity is conducted. Again, the external quality assurance of such a large network is something that I can actually take pride in, and this is, again, country's pride. Now, this is the number of, so this is again old data. What I want to bring to you today is how, we are actually making a difference. We are offering UDST in a big way. The national policy today is to reach 100%. And already we have in place first line DST, phenotypic, and second line DST for all the drugs. Now here, if I can briefly talk about the new regimen that we rolled out end of last year is the BPAL-M regimen, which again took a lot of energy to design. We brought in moxifloxacin in FQ-resistant patients as well. because microbiologically you will understand very well that the drugs act in a synergistic manner and bring down the MIC of each other. So the TB practical trial which was done globally showed that it led to recurrence-free cure even in those patients who were FQ resistant. So what we have done is we have rolled out BPAL-M. So even in patients who are FQ resistant, so we have actually foregone the need for FQ testing, because in MDR, once a patient is rifampicin, there are some inclusion-exclusion criteria. For the BPAL-M, we put the patient on BPAL-M if they fit into the inclusion-exclusion. If they do not fit into the inclusion-exclusion, then we have to switch them to shorter oral if they're FQ sensitive or longer oral if they're FQ resistant. But then what we are experiencing is 90% plus treatment success rate with BPAL-M, and we are very, very comfortable with the BPAL-M regimen. Today, as we speak, close to 15,000 patients countrywide are on BPAL-M, and the numbers are ever increasing. There is rate contracts for all these second-line drugs as well, and supplies are more than adequate available with the states. But the initial teething that the states had, understanding how and when to roll out BPAL-M, they are slowly gearing on. And last year we reported close to 57,000 MDR-TB across the country. And let me also tell you, this is a matter of pride, and you'll read in the Global TB report that though there has been an increase in numbers over the past few years, but the increase is not statistically significant. We are still at a staggering number of at least 7,000 MDR-TB patients, of which we hope to reach each and every patient who can be included on BPAL-M will be included on BPAL-M. Nevertheless, what we did was we equipped our culture DST labs to do baseline culture DST for all second-line drugs, including bedaquiline and pretomanid, so that in case the patients are not successful on BPAL-M and we need to switch them to the alternative regimen, we'll have the DST to those regimens as well. And why baseline? Because baseline, we are more likely to get a culture growing, and it will be possible to do DST and have a report ready in case we want to switch the patient to another treatment regimen. However, what we've also done is, again, something that you will be delighted to know. We have enabled targeted NGS sequencing in our centers of excellence of MDR-TB. 5 centers of excellence are offering targeted NGS to all patients who are MDR-TB, and slowly this is expanding. We will expand from these 5 COEs to these 43 labs who are doing phenotypic DST, and slowly we'll expand to all our culture DST labs the ability to do targeted NGS. So that is how we are progressing. For our RIF-sensitive TB patients, since we know they are rifampicin sensitive, what we are trying to do is encourage our NAT manufacturers, our TrueNAT. So you're aware that GeneXpert came in with the XDR cartridge, which was very, very expensive and did not give us any of the currently used second-line drugs. Of course, it gave ethionamide and injectables and FQ, fluoroquinolones. But with BPAL-M, like I said, the use of fluoroquinolone DST is no longer there. But, what we would possibly need is the extended second-line drugs, which the GeneXpert XDR cartridge was not offering. We are now encouraging it. And in fact, the TrueNAT people, the MolBio people have already made a point-of-care NAT for fluoroquinolone, for INH, and they're working on a NAT for bedaquiline. The test is currently under validation by ICMR. The moment ICMR is comfortable with the results of validation, we will be able to use it in the program. And once they recommend it, we will then have feasibility tests under the program and we will use it. Similarly, PathoDetect has also come up with, it is already offering us rifampicin and INH, and they're coming up with fluoroquinolone and bedaquiline. So that will help us discern which patient is to be put on which treatment regimen. And like I mentioned earlier, we have all these available with us and we are making the most. So for our DSTB patient, just to summarize, we are hoping that we'll get point-of-care NATs, which will give us INH resistance. Because for INH resistance, we need, levoflox to be added to the treatment, mono-H resistance treatment. We will like to have a point-of-care NAT for fluoroquinolone resistance as well. For our RIF-resistant patients, how we will strengthen is we will use targeted NGS, And frankly, we brought down the cost of targeted NGS as well. We are trying to bring it down further so that we can extend the facility to all our DRTB patients. So once we have baseline targeted NGS results for these patients, we will be able to decide which patients have bedaquiline or predominant resistance, which are the exclusion criteria, and we will be able to decide at the outset which patient will benefit from BPAL-M, which patient will have to be put on shorter or longer oral regimens. So that is how we are working, and you can appreciate the algorithm. I don't know if I'm running out of time. This algorithm is available in our guideline documents, and most of you must be aware, and I've already talked about all of this and summarized it for you. The longer oral regimen that I referred to earlier was bedaquiline, levoflox, clofazimine, pyrazinamide, ethionamide, high-dose H for 5 months, and of course bedaquiline for 4 to 6 months, followed by 4 drugs after that. And of course the shorter oral is 6 to 9 months. I'm sorry, not 6 to 9 months, 9 months, and the mono H can be extended from 6 to 9 months if required. The BPAL-M, of course, is 6 months, and probably this is the micro. So BPAL-M in practice is actually giving us 90% plus treatment success rate, as compared to something in the tune of 70 to 75% which we get on shorter oral, and much lower treatment success rate on longer oral regimen. Now, what is of importance is that I've already spoken about this. So what I would like to talk about is, if the states are wanting to do UDST, what we would like to urge is to reduce time in transporting the sample to the lab. Of course, also enable good samples to be collected. So in addition to sputum, where we need 2 samples for gastric lavage-induced sputum, sometimes facilities in the states are weaker. So we are trying to look at tests which can offer us, instead of respiratory samples, we can use alternate samples. Now in this slide, what we have published earlier from AIIMS is use of urine lamp, use of urine gene expert in pediatric and extrapulmonary population, which can diagnose TB. Again, under the program, we are having an implementation research at the ground level. We're trying to see if these samples, other than respiratory, especially in patient population where respiratory sample collection may be an issue. Of course, for the extrapulmonary sites as well, like I said, we have done several studies in GI TB, in female genital TB. In TB meningitis, we found urine lamp to be very useful. In addition, urine gene expert has also, we can pick DNA, the circulating DNA can be picked up from the urine. Again, these studies that I'm quoting are on small sample sizes. We are doing these studies in a large sample size under the program, and we'll be able to soon share the data with you. There are a lot of caveats around why, and you probably have seen the 2013 document of WHO where Gene Expert was recommended for extrapulmonary samples, and our data from AIIMS was part of that data, in the policy document for Gene Expert published in 2013, and that brought out that certain samples will be picked up better, while certain samples may be missed. There will be false negatives if you're using pleural fluid and biopsy samples and so on and so forth. All of you are aware of that. Hence, we are also trying to work out alternative samples, what I mentioned earlier. So I've already talked about INH and FQ resistance and the strength that our labs have, so you can appreciate the 43 laboratories. And the ASSAM, we have the Guwahati Center, which is doing a phenomenal job. The IRL in Guwahati is doing an extraordinary job and is part of the 43 labs. For now, I think I've already talked about, so we will be able to soon move away from line probe assay. The speaker before me talked about multi-step, and of course there are issues. We have losses at every step. This is a reverse hybridization assay where we may have losses because it is a multi-step test. And the limit of detection of LP, again, is much less compared to the point of care NAT test that we were talking about earlier. I talked about the LCDST in the 5 centers of excellence. In addition to NIRT Chennai, it becomes 6. So I've already talked about specimen collection and transport, and more often than not, if there are delays in transport, the quality of the result can be dropped, the DNA level can go down, we may get indeterminate results. This is the guidance we have given for sample collection, and especially in asymptomatic population, it can be a challenge to. So what the direction and the new strategy is, all abnormal X-rays. All abnormal X-rays, because we do not want to diagnose based on the X-ray diagnosis. We want a state-of-art high sensitivity test to rule out TB in all abnormal X-rays. So what we have recommended is collect sputum, collect early morning sputum, do a NAT. So what we are recommending for early morning collection is either the patient can be taught to, take steam, bring out sputum. The crux remains that, patient counseling should be done well so that a good quality sample is sent to the lab, and the time lost in transport can actually cause, the report can be false negative, and we do not want to be wasting our expensive tests. So when we procure these tests, we realize these turn out to be quite expensive, and despite the fact that we have encouraged Indian indigenous tests, the cost still is high. So we have an alternative that is coming, that's round the corner, where again, ICMR validation exercise is ongoing, an open RT-PCR, where Huel has made a very economical test. But as of now, they're only offering us detection of TB. We're encouraging them to come up with rifampicin and iron-H resistance. Again, that is under validation by ICMR. They've made something. We are awaiting for those results and will soon adopt. The cost will go down. We'll be able to do high throughput testing in labs where real-time PCR training was possible due to the COVID pandemic, though COVID pandemic had several drawbacks, but it did, leave us prepared for, with new technology and a lot of new challenges we learned to deal with. Now, this is just details of where we could go wrong, I basically want to share with you, of course, the lab is performing, trying to do its best, and the care providers, Dr. Tapan also highlighted that we would like them to reach out to us when they need us and not really, let any gaps being there, no communication gaps. But what we need to reach is the field level. And this is where our Abhiyan made a lot of difference. We had campaigns being held in each Ayushman Arogya held, and the vans, the Nikshay Vahans as we call them, would go hold camps all over. But what we need to do is strengthen all comorbid condition is their vulnerable comorbid condition. They may not be asymptomatic, still we must try to get a diagnosis in case they have subclinical TB. Now here we need to fill gaps. First we have to reach each and every vulnerable group. You are handled where I said, 2,000 available with the country soon. We are trying to get more so that block level we have one of them fact that India being a such a high burden runs only on the domestic funding as compared to several other less fortunate has been giving vision. Our Honorable Prime Minister has shown us the vision of TB Mukt Bharat, and there is a monitoring at the highest level. Our Honorable HFM has been instrumental in actually increasing the budget more than 10 times in the last 7 years. So that is the fact of the matter, that we do not have to look outside for any support financially. All the network, everything that I shared with you is all domestic funding. All the supplies, drugs, diagnostics, we are working on making free diagnostics and drugs available even to our private sector patients. What we do is we tie up with our private sector physicians, we enable the transport of samples from their clinics to the LTE labs, and we ensure, in case they are interested, that the supplies of drugs can be kept at their clinics, so that the patients who would like to be treated by a private sector physician get the drugs and diagnostics free of cost. In addition, I did not mention the nutrition initiative, which again was a major initiative in last September, where after I joined, we requested, again with scientific evidence, we have shown that nutrition can make a difference to the recovery for the TB patient. It can act as a preventive force in those who are exposed, for example, the household contacts. So what we did was the NPY direct benefit transfer was doubled from 500 to 1,000 rupees. The Niksha Mitra basket, which was being supported by CSR, has been expanded to cover the family of the patient, and we introduced energy-dense nutrition support for patients who are low BMI. I mentioned in the vulnerable groups that less than 18.5 population, low BMI patients contribute about 46% of our Niksha TB burden. So these patients are being supported for the initial 2 months with energy-dense nutrition support. So all this has been planned based on scientific evidence, and we are trying to go from strength to strength. So I think with this, I will conclude my talk, and thank you for the patient listening. If there are any questions, I'm happy to take those questions. Thank you.
Is that what are the WHO recommendation which have been implemented? Are your recommendation, 5 recommendation, which is very, very important as far as testing is concerned?
I am not sure if that was a question, but sir, we have gone way beyond what WHO recommended. We are not only, we have enhanced the symptoms from 4 symptoms recognized by WHO to 10 symptoms that we have now recommended under the program, and are actually in practice in the peripheral sites. Our ASHA workers, our CHOs, our medical officers, everybody has been trained to look for 10 symptoms where they are looking for symptoms in symptomatic patients. But in addition, they are looking at asymptomatic vulnerables to screen them and look for subclinical needing. None of these recommendations have come from WHO. The nutrition document which WHO has just released, our nutrition document has been in place in the past 2-3 years, and we are again revising it and bringing state-of-the-art latest scientific data, latest scientific publications to guide our nutrition document. And there is a major effort to, in fact, train even our peripheral workers to support patients with those nutrition, etc. In treatment, sir, we are using a regimen which has not been used in any country. We base our regimen design on global experiences with in-country support as well. There was a modified LEPA trial done by NIRT Chennai along with the program, which gave us the confidence that people will work in the country. And in addition, we added to it moxifloxacin because it ensured recurrence-free cure. So we are going way beyond and way faster than the rest of the world is going. You are aware of the 2024 Global TB report. It showed a clear decline in incidence, double the rate the world has done. The reduction in mortality was also way ahead of what the global decline in mortality has been. So we are getting there, sir, and everybody is, like we say, we are working for Jan Bhagidari approach, whole of government, whole of society, and there is a major drive. We are trying to make a difference here. We do not want any of our patients to die. We have released a differentiated TB care guideline, which has not even been thought of globally. Now, this guideline document has in fact, it's a big document going into all details. It helps us identify patients at risk of worsening disease. Red flag signs, which are in fact even our ASHA workers have been trained. We have had a national level training on the differentiated TB care guidelines, and soon we'll have regional level trainings. What we're trying to do is, even even our peripheral level workers should be able to discern which patients need higher care, which patients need admission to a higher facility, he needs a TB bed. Now for enabling TB beds, there has been a direction from our Honorable HM to all medical colleges. And again, we're going to consolidate this effort, ensure, so there is a major effort. My team members have worked on airborne infection control in a wonderful manner, and some of the participants may be aware how AIC for MDR TB, how AIC for DSTB trainings have been given to medical colleges. Again, we are consolidating this effort. So patients who need admission in a medical college hospital get the due beds, get the due care, so as we reduce mortality.
Thank you, thank you.
Thank you, madam. So there is one query from the House. What is the scope of genomic testing for tuberculosis in our country? What is the scope?
Sir, I already talked about targeted NGS. Now, if I may bring to the august audience who has raised this question, it was in the year 2013. I was a professor, I'm still a professor at AIIMS. I started helping the program, laying down specifications for a whole genome sequencer. From 2013 to 2018, a lot of effort was put by the program. They procured 6 whole genome sequencing systems which are available in our NRLs. But when these systems arrived, my first query to the then DDT, Dr. Sachdeva, was, sir, the function is important. Whole genome sequencing can be a fashion. Unless it offers the function that it is meant for, we are not successful. And that is 2018, sir. And now today I am sharing with you, I have already rolled out targeted NGS in these 5 settings. Whole genome sequencing does not have much added value in patient care. What we need is to know drug resistance so that we can give the right regimen. And like I'm saying, we've rolled it out. It's actually working on the ground. We start to deal with TB patients. Soon we will expand it to the rest of the 43 labs who are also doing phenotypic DST. And I hope in the next few months we'll be able to do this.
Ma'am, you are not audible. Yeah. You are not audible, madam.
I am unmuted. I'm not muted.
Yeah. Now it's okay. Now it's okay. Thank you, madam, for your lucid presentation. It's as usual. Nice to listen to you after a long time, and your physical presence would have made us more happier and more interactive also. And you have raised 3 important challenges we in Northeast region we are facing. That is a logistic, then the HR recruitments, and also the AMC, CMC of the equipments. And as you have told that you have some rate contract with some of the things. So can we get these rate contracts and we can utilize these facilities?
Yeah, so we have rate contracts for drugs, we have rate contracts for diagnostics.
Yes.
No issue with consumables. Regarding AMC, CMC, the program equipment is under AMC, the payment is done by the center. So if there are any gaps there, Dr. Pratappan, I would appreciate if you can kindly share those gaps. We are taking care of AMC, CMC ourselves from here. So the payment runs into crores. In case there are issues, I'm more than happy to handhold the state to sort out those AMC, CMC issues. The issue that bothers me is the state ensure that the sample is transported to the labs in time. We do not want any time loss because the report will be a false negative if there's a delay in transport. So we have been encouraging states with their own transport agencies in place, shared.
Okay. So.
And in the state PIPs, the payment is available for a transport agency to transport samples. Regarding HR, the MD&HM of the states are the competent authority to hire HR. Any state who's having an issue can please request your MD&HM from our ASN NHM. Communications have clearly gone that the NHM staff should be helping TB as well. It is not that everybody will work in silos. NHM technicians should be helping TB work. NHM radiographers should be helping TB work. So it is a combined activity and not activity in isolation.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for your elaborate presentation. We would have been so happy if you were present in the conclave physically, probably next time. Thank you so much, ma'am. We wrap up today.
I apologize for my absence because commitments here, didn't really allow me to travel. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you everyone. Thank you.
Yes, thank you, madam, for your time in spite of your busy schedule. AIIMS Guwahati extend heartfelt gratitude to you, madam.
Many thanks.
Requesting Professor Dr. Shiv Shekhar Datta to kindly come on stage for his felicitation. Professor Dr. Shiv Shekhar Datta. Requesting all the chairperson to kindly felicitate, sir. Requesting Dr. Bhupen Borman to kindly come on stage for felicitating Professor Dr. Ashok Puranik, Executive Director, AIIMS Guwahati. Requesting Dr. Elizabeth to kindly come on stage for felicitating our esteemed chairpersons. Thank you so much. Requesting all the chairperson to kindly be seated on their seats. Sir, of the dais. With this, we came to the end of this program. So for closing the program, we have a gala dinner outside the guest house, requesting all the faculties and stage officials to proceed for the gala dinner. Tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock our session will start. So at 9:30 our session will start. So requesting all the faculties, delegates to be on time. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining. Thank you. Jai Hind. हम लोग एक